Well, well, well. Welcome to another episode of King Supreme back in the game. We are here for some more content. Where you guys at? Let's get it. Show some love, show some love. Chilling contracts. You already know how we do, baby. Right. Now, we did a show on Red Supreme TV1, but now we back over here on King Supreme. You know what I mean? Shout out to my people that's been rocking. Let's get the show popping. Oh man. Saturday. I'm gonna have it my way. Right about this time, we are talking about Mexicans in Chicago putting a $50,000 hit out on ICE agents for doing their job in the city, right? What they're gonna do is they're gonna get their whole hood federally indicted. You're gonna have a whole federal indictment come down on your hood. That's exactly what's gonna happen. XL, what up, man? Mike Bailey, real Blackmatic. The game is automatic when it flows to Red Supreme. Tap in. Now, word on the street is the Latin Kings of Chicago put a hit out on ICE agents, and that's a war that you guys can't win. That's a war that you can't win. Royalty. What's poppin', Royalty, Mike Bailey? Yeah, man. You see, I got the Chicago hat on. Let me blow this thing up for a second, man. You know, we got the Shot Town gear on, man. You see what I'm saying? Chicago. We got the hat on, man. You know, Chicago Bulls was always one of my favorite teams in the league. You know, me being from Los Angeles, you probably thought I was a Lakers fan. Like the Lakers, man, but I was always a Bulls fan, right? I always been more of a Bulls fan than a Lakers fan, and you know, that's just what it is. But let's get into this content. We got a lot of things to discuss. Hey, man, we can talk about the government shutdown, people wilding out because they can't get food stamps. I just left Walmart. I just left Walmart 30 minutes ago, and guess what, man? It was light work up in there, man. I didn't see nobody. I went up in there to get me some bread from the bakery because I make my own subs at home. You know, I get the Cajun turkey, the pastrami. You know what I mean? Roast beef, different meats at the deli, man. So I went up in there to get my sandwich stuff, man. And I noticed I didn't see, because usually you see chicks with shopping carts full of groceries on the first of the month. I didn't see none of that today. Walmart was damn near empty, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know, you walk right up in there, get in the line and get out, man. Usually, and check this out. Usually around this time, man, if you go to Walmart, because keep in mind, it's 1:40, excuse me, it's 2:40 p.m. on the West Coast. I know it's 4:40 p.m. Central Time. It's 5:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's already getting dark on the East Coast. What do you know? But Walmart was light work. I didn't see none of those hood chicks with their bunnettes. I didn't see none of those hood chicks with their slippers and their pajamas on. I didn't see none of that today in Walmart. I was able to get in and get right out. My refrigerator is already full. I just went up in there to get me some bread for my sub sandwiches that I be making at home. You did. Got my little Chipotle sauce, my honey Dijon mustard, got my pickles, tomatoes. Yeah, man, I make my own sub sandwiches at home. But anyway, man, that's besides the point. We're finna get into the topic of the conversation. Guess what? I know what you guys came here for, so let's dive into the content. Shout out to my people, man. I appreciate you guys for being up in the building. Everyone in the dollar store now. Yes, sir. Anyway, we ain't gonna waste no time. Let's get into this.
Under siege, immigration and custom enforcement teams are facing a new threat dished out by the drug cartels. First, it was violent protesters rioting and attacking ICE agents on the streets. Now, Homeland Security Department has announced Mexican cartels have put out bounties on agents in Chicago. DHS says those cartels are working with gangs and extremist groups to deploy armed spotters to rooftops to track agents' movements. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. DHS also revealed.
Oh yeah, man. And another thing, man, a quick PSA, man. You know, they be policing my channels. Every now and then I get that yellow sticker where it talks about ad suitability. So keep the language clean in the chat. We want to stay monetized over here. Man, you got people who curse in their videos and say all type of crazy stuff, but for some reason they want to put a yellow sticker on my video, even if they see a few curse words. Come on, bro. Every time I do these live streams, I said not made for children. This content is for adults. We can't even, like, using a few curse words is bad, but then a rap song will come on with curse words, guns, and killing, and those videos are monetized with a gang of ads on it. Well, my live stream, if my live stream had 4 curse words, they want to demonetize the video. They want to take the ads off of the damn live stream. So they pick and choose who they want to police, and they police my channel heavy. Anyway, let's get into the content. The Mexican cartels and the Mexican gangs in Chicago are sending death threats to ICE agents. Let's get into the content.
Youth dished out by the drug cartels. First, it was violent protesters rioting and attacking ICE agents on the streets. Now, Homeland Security Department has announced Mexican cartels have put out bounties on agents in Chicago. DHS says those cartels are working with gangs and extremist groups to deploy armed spotters to rooftops to track agents' movements. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. DHS also revealed a tiered bounty system that cartels are using to incentivize violence. Now, all of this according to the DHS. Here's the price cartels are putting out. $2,000 to get information on ICE agents or to dox them. $5,000 to $10,000 to kidnap or hurt the agents. Up to $50,000 to assassinate senior officials. Meanwhile, the rioting heating up again. ICE and Border Patrol were forced to use tear gas to protect themselves from a large group of rioters in Chicago yesterday. Chicago Police Department confirming those rioters were throwing objects at the ICE agents, a serious federal crime. Still, Illinois Democrats are going after the ICE agents, maybe even fueling some of this violence we're seeing. One Democrat state senator posted ICE's behavior was unacceptable and that people in that neighborhood, quote, don't tolerate this kind of BS, end of quote. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin went after that kind of right.
Man, if I was these ICE agents, man, they need to make an example out of that. Like, oh, you want to send threats? We're gonna come in, we're gonna come to your hood and lay anybody down from that particular hood and round everybody up and lock them up. We ain't finna take none of these threats from these punks. We know exactly where to find them. We know where their hood is. Let's go in there, round everybody up, arrest them, and bust heads. That's what they need to start doing, to let them know you mean business.
Rhetoric from the left.
It really is stunning when you're seeing these protesters, you're seeing these agitators, and you're seeing these politicians giving our law enforcement hell for protecting these facilities and actually protecting these detainees so they can get to the detention facility through their due process and out of this country.
Chief Border Patrol agent Greg Movino allegedly faced a bounty on his life. And coming up, moments from now, we'll talk with him in Focus. First, let's start with more news on this. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin in Illinois. Mike.
And Harris, that class you were talking about with the rock throwing was on the southeast side of Chicago, and it started with Border Patrol agents spotting someone they determined to be suspicious. They confronted that individual, and then according to DHS, the individual with another person in the car rammed the Border Patrol vehicle, and that triggered a high-speed chase. That high-speed chase went near the Indiana border and ended with Border Patrol agents executing the pit maneuver to stop that vehicle. 2 people in the car, both of them Venezuelan. DHS says they're in the U.S. U.S. illegally. One had an order for removal dating back to 2024. One got out and ran. They were both stopped, but by that time a crowd formed. Chicago police say the crowd started throwing rocks. CBP responded with crowd control measures like tear gas. Both Chicago's mayor and the Illinois governor criticized the agents without mentioning the rock throwing.
Unfortunately, the abuses of ICE and of CBP continue, and we're going to do everything that we can, again, to protect our residents, but also to get the courts to step in and stop them from abusing just everyday people that they are firing gas pellets and rubber bullets at.
Now, the fence surrounding the ICE facility in Broadview is now down. It came down with an hour to go before the court-ordered midnight deadline. The mayor of Broadview has acknowledged that the protests here get out of control, so the area on the southwest side of the ICE facility has been declared a no-protest zone, primarily to keep protesters from walking into traffic. Protests are now restricted to a small area here on the northeast side, and the protesters are not happy about it.
It seems like they're trying to push us out or trying to make it so the protest is less effective. I'm not the only one that feels this is unconstitutional. People are going to get more angry and they're going to come out, and a lot of people are just going to simply defy it.
Yeah, if you start busting heads and sending people to jail to let them know you mean business, they wouldn't be out there doing all this protesting. They'd go somewhere and sit their monkey ass down. But as long as they can protest and become agitators and there's no consequences, then yeah, you're gonna get stuff like this. There's no consequences.
Now, the chief of Broadview.
Listen, you can't do all this protesting in Mexico, man. You really can't do all that over there right now. They got a lot of corruption, a lot of crime over there. Don't get it twisted, but you cannot do all this protesting. You cannot antagonize police officers or law enforcement. They're not going to tolerate this in Mexico, so they shouldn't tolerate that crap over here.
Police told me that a gate is going to go in here, and it will be staffed by local police, giving them the ability to allow emergency vehicles through, and with the idea that it can keep protesters out. What you've got right now is a bunch of Jersey barriers and a state trooper vehicle in the middle of the road. Harris, back to you.
Mike, thank you very much. Greg Bovino, Chief Patrol Agent for the El Centro sector in California. You'll hear his name quite a bit. He has a huge story to tell today. He is leading the Trump administration's Border Patrol efforts in Chicago. And earlier this month, officers arrested a member of the Latin Kings gang for putting out a bounty on Agent Bovino's life. We welcome him now in focus. Glad you are well and can tell us the story. So first of all, how did you find out, Agent Bovino, that somebody had put a hit?
What makes the Latin Kings think that they can stop ICE from doing their job? You're just going to get federally, you're going to, your hood will get hit with federal indictments. You're not going to stop ICE from doing their job because you put out that little hit on somebody. Man, listen, homie, you're just making things worse for yourself and the rest of your neighborhood. I wouldn't be surprised if they slapped the Latin Kings with a gang of federal indictments over this stuff, right?
Out on you.
Good morning, Harris. It's good to see you again. I came into work one morning and found that there was a bounty that was put out by the Latin Kings, by that individual, and I was notified that morning, hey, there's a bounty on your head now. So it was quite interesting.
And what can you tell us about what that does to, just kind of the infrastructure of agents, of weaponry to prepare for such a thing? How are things changing knowing that this type of environment exists against you?
Things have changed a lot. Since those bounties were put out, we've had to take different measures to keep our agents safe, our ICE officers safe, and our allied law enforcement agents safe as they go into the field. And something else, Harris, that we're seeing is the lethality of the assaults against officers and agents. That lethality is increasing, and I think it's because of the bounties and that crazy rhetoric by the out-of-control governor and mayor. Lethality, like just yesterday, as you know, we had 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela try to run over 2 Border Patrol agents. They were unsuccessful, and then decided it would be a good idea to ram the Border Patrol car before engaging in a high-speed pursuit. So that, along with weapons being taken to protests, the lethality is definitely increasing, and it's because of things like bounties and the crazy things that governor says.
Real quickly, and I'll move to the next. You mentioned officers in there, too. I'm going to think local officers on the ground are part of this no matter what their sanctuary city or state would say, because they're kind of in between all of it, are they in danger along with you?
You bet. And they have been all along. That's an unspoken story. As we have these illegal alien gangs, the Latin Kings, MS-13 Sureños, that puts them in danger as well. That's an unspoken story here that needs to be told. And I'm glad you brought that to light, Harris. They've been in danger for a long time now. That's why we're here. That's why ICE, Border Patrol are here in Chicago to take care of that situation, to wrap those gangs up. That makes it safer for those local police.
Well, look, this is hard to believe that it's going on, but while you're trying to do that, here is the backdrop. Particularly Los Angeles County has declared a state of emergency over the surge in the job that you're doing, Agent Bovino, in the ICE raids in the city. This move allows the county to offer financial assistance to illegal immigrants who are affected by rounding up the worst of the worst, including rent and relief and legal aid, all the things. Because when one person is arrested in a family, they're saying that impacts the family. The county supervisor actually said this. Families have been...
Moderators, drop the Cash App in the chat for your boy so people can tap in and support the show. Let's go.
Illegal immigrants who are affected by rounding up the worst of the worst, including rent and relief and legal aid, all the things. Because when one person is arrested in a family, they're saying that impacts the family. The county supervisor actually said this. Families have been living under threat and workers have been taken away from their jobs. Los Angeles County has a responsibility to protect every resident, no matter where they come from or what papers they carry. In an exclusive statement to Fox News, ICE said this: the only state of emergency is the one the residents of Los Angeles face after electing officials who give a middle finger to the law. A study found in 2023, the state of California had already spent $31 billion of taxpayer money on illegal aliens.
You guys hear that? Look at all that money that California spent. $39 billion on illegal immigrants in California alone. And we're not talking about all 50 states put together. We're talking about $39 billion in 1 year in the state of California alone. That's how much money they spent on these illegals.
Who give a middle finger to the law. A study found in 2023, the state of California had already spent $31 billion of taxpayer money on illegal aliens. And now they want to pay the rent and the such while you do your job. First of all, your reaction to that?
Giving aid and comfort.
See, this is more reason for them to come out there and let these people know y'all mean business. Y'all spent $39 million on these people and they got the nerve to send death threats. You talk about being ungrateful. You talk about being entitled. These people are way out of line. Look at all the money that California spent on these damn border hoppers. You got the nerve to send death threats? Man, if y'all don't do something about this.
To criminal illegal aliens is almost an insurrection, as the president says. Harris, we're apprehending child rapists in front of Home Depots in California. Many of them aggravated felons, people that you don't want on the streets. We're apprehending those by the hundreds. You want to give aid and comfort to those people? You want to give free housing to those people? That's what's happening in California.
Wow. Well, I know that you all are doing a mighty job. I feel like I can't say this enough.
All right, let's go to the next clip, man. Like, this is insane. You talk about being entitled. If that don't tell y'all need to start spending money on these damn illegals, I don't know what will.
Yep. This after a district judge refused to request by Democrats to block the federal deployment.
Mike Tobin joins us live in Chicago with the latest. Hey, Mike.
Good morning, gang. Let me start you out with a story we broke for you yesterday that a bounty was put on the head of the commander of the Border Patrol out here, Chief Gregory Bovino. Federal prosecutors, I should say, released yesterday that they had arrested one suspect. They described him as a ranking member of the Latin King street gang. His name is Juan Espinoza Martinez, alleging that he solicited the murder of Bovino. Part of the evidence, a Snapchat message offering $2,000 for information about Bovino, $10,000 to, quote, take him down. Here's Chief Bovino last night.
It's a war zone out there. Secretary No mentioned a bounty on the heads of federal agents, that $2,000 to kidnap, $10,000 to kill. senior Border Patrol officials and senior ICE officials here in Chicago. That's something out of a third world country. Is this America? So we do need to get to the bottom of that, and I do believe that we'll get some more clarity on what happened there with the response.
Now, prosecutors also claim they do.
Look at this little short fool, man. Look at this dude right here, man. What could he really do? What could he really do without a knife or a gun? Nothing, really. This fool got the nerve to be sending death threats. A Latin Kings gang member out of Chicago.
Developed information that Espinoza had dispatched gang members to 39th and Kedzie on the south side on Saturday. That is the scene where Border Patrol.
Something out of a third world country. Is this America? So we do need to get to the bottom of that, and I do believe that we'll get some more clarity on what happened there with the response.
Now, prosecutors also claim they developed information that Espinoza had dispatched gang members to 39th and Kedzie on the south side on Saturday. That is the scene where Border Patrol was rammed and boxed in, where a Border Patrol agent fired and struck one of his alleged attackers. And that is also the location from which agents called for help. The controversy now is evidence that indicates Chicago cops were ordered to stand down and not help their federal counterparts. That's something Superintendent Larry Snelling denied yesterday, but rank and file Chicago police are outraged.
Sadly, this department is in literally a shell of itself and so fearful of what politicians and this mayor are going to do to them.
Now, the National Guard is on its way to Chicago. As you mentioned, some 400 Texas National Guardsmen have been called up with the cooperation of Governor Abbott, some to Portland area, some to Chicago. The Illinois National Guard has been called up, and the Illinois Attorney General challenged that in court. Now, yesterday, U.S. District Judge April Perry refused to block the deployment of the Guard, saying simply there were voluminous court filings, and she needed time to read all of them before she offered a ruling, but it came with great displeasure to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Donald Trump is...
J.B. Pritzker is terrible, bro. J.B. Pritzker is similar to Gavin Newsom in California. I see a lot of similarities in Pritzker. Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, terrible. Some of the worst governors that you could ever... Some of the worst governors in American history.
Using our service members as political props and as pawns in his illegal effort to militarize our nation's cities. The state of Illinois is going to use every lever at our disposal to resist this power grab and get Noam's thugs the hell out of Chicago. I'm not afraid.
So he's calling ICE agents the thugs, but not the people who send death threats to the agents, not the gangs that's doing all the killings. He wants to demonize ICE agents for doing their damn job. This dude is an idiot. He ain't got no damn business being no governor. Brandon Johnson ain't got no damn business being a mayor. You notice that J.B. Pritzker don't have a problem with the gangs and the immigrants. He don't have no problem with that. He got a problem with ICE doing their job.
I'm not afraid, and I won't back down.
And yesterday, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order declaring city property ICE-free zones. The White House responded to that shields violent and criminal illegals and abandons the citizens of Chicago. Guys, back to you.
Wow, perilous times.
The state of California alone spent $39 billion on these border hoppers. No wonder why you don't want to give people benefits, SNAP benefits. You didn't spend $39 billion in the state of California alone. So if they spent $39 billion in the state of California, imagine how much money they didn't spend on these immigrants nationwide. That's something for y'all to think about. Add up all 50 states. $39 billion alone in Cali. Add up the rest of the 49 states across the country. They didn't spend trillions of dollars on these damn illegal immigrants. I promise you. You remember when that Mexican dude in City Hall in Chicago said, "No more money for you. No more money for you." Yeah, because they didn't give all the money to these damn illegals. That's why he was running around being cocky saying, "No more money for you." Yeah.
It's a big standoff. Thanks so much.
No more money for you. No more money for you. I guess not. Won't be no more money for you.
A Latin King gang member put a $10,000 bounty on the head of the leader of ICE in Chicago. He wanted him dead. He even had $2,000 for anybody that can give him any information on the leader of ICE. You know, snitch on him. He's been arrested for a murder for hire plot in Chicago over the weekend.
So Juan Espinosa, known by the street name Monkey, is accused of offering $10,000 reward for Bovin's murder and $2,000 for information about Bovino's location. This dude ain't gonna never get out of federal prison. He's washed up. He's getting washed up for sending that death threat, for trying to put out that hit.
Hit the like button. Gold on this video, 1,000 likes. It was a lady that was shot a couple days ago by like ICE and shit like that. You know, this Latin King gang member named Monkey, he didn't like that shit. He feel like, man, y'all out there fucking with my Hispanic people. He got very angry about that. They say he had the power to call hit some people. He been calling hit some people for a while. He put a hit out on the leader of ICE. You know, he sent his Latin King gang members to go over there where that shooting happened and told them, y'all better get all y'all guns, get all y'all weapons, and guard our hood. I believe it's like on Drake and shit in the little village community. You know, he told them, y'all better guard this community. If they come over here, get to shooting at their ass, kill their ass and shit. He offered $10,000 for anybody that can kill that leader, the commander. And he offered $2,000 if anybody can tell him where he at right now at the moment. He didn't know that it's somebody involved in this clique that snitched on him and told the FBI. He was arrested. He got a murder for hire plot on a federal agent. You know, this kind of case right here get you infinite calendars. Look like this guy might not never come home, you know.
Alleged senior ranking gang member in Chicago is now accused of putting a bounty out for Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino. Juan Espinosa Martinez is charged with murder for hire. The Department of Homeland Security says an informant sent them an image from Snapchat where Martinez allegedly offered $10,000 for Bovino's murder.
Part of the evidence, a Snapchat message offering $2,000 for information about Bovino, $10,000 to, quote, take him down. Here's Chief Bovino last night.
It's a war zone out there. Secretary No mentioned a bounty on the heads of federal agents. That $2,000 to kidnap, $10,000 to kill senior Border Patrol officials and senior ICE officials here in Chicago. That's something out of a third world country. Is this America? So we do need to get to the bottom of that, and I do believe that we'll get some more clarity on what happened there with the response.
Now, prosecutors also claim they developed information that Espinosa had dispatched gang members to 39th and Kedzie.
It's a big stronghold going on in Chicago. It seems like everybody hates these ICE people. It's a lot of people that's here illegally and shit like that, and they're afraid to even go outside. You know, when you go to the little village community, it's people outside, but it's a lot of people that's just hiding inside of their houses because at any moment, ICE can pop out and take you away, you know. They snatch you, they put your ass on an airplane, getting you out of the country. You're not going to say goodbye to your family. And that's how serious this shit is. So people are taking shit in their own hands. I'm not saying this shit is right, man. You know, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's a Latin King gang member who just took shit to the extent like this, where, you know, they got somebody who's willing to testify against him. They said that he was offering money, man, $10,000, man, to find out what dude at the leader of the ICE, he wanted to shake the whole world up and kill them. It was a hit out on ICE in Chicago. That's why there's been a lot of brutality and fights and shit going on, according to the FBI. Now, this could be them trying to make shit sound a little different and shit, because they out here just locking motherfuckers up and arresting people. So I'm going to keep y'all updated. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
All right, so there you go, man. We got one more. I got another clip to play, man. And let's hit the like button if you haven't already. Show some love, family.
You're looking live at Gary, Indiana, about 30 miles south of Chicago, where at any moment DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, alongside other immigration officials, will give an update on ICE's Operation Midway Blitz, which Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino has deemed wildly successful, and that comes despite Democratic opposition. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany. Here's my co-host, Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Donna Rotuno, Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney, and Paul Mauro, you know him, Fox News contributor, attorney, and retired NYPD inspector. All this comes as DHS is warning of unprecedented violence against ICE officers. Look at this, as death threats against them have skyrocketed to over 8,000% compared to
the Mexicans throwing bricks at the ICE. The Mexicans don't care. The Mexicans is way out of control, man.
And Paul Mauro, you know him, Fox News contributor, attorney, and retired NYPD inspector. All this comes as DHS is warning of unprecedented violence against ICE officers. Look at this, as death threats against them have skyrocketed to over 8,000% compared to last year. Just look here at this video on your screen. Officers are being assaulted by people throwing rocks at their heads and blocking police vehicles with their bodies and bicycles. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Meet Eduardo Aguilar, a Mexican national living in Dallas, Texas illegally. DHS says he put a $10,000 hit out for the murder of ICE agents in a TikTok post. Some of
you got Mexicans in Dallas and in death Mexican from Dallas. What make these Mexicans think they're gonna get away with putting hits on federal agents? It's not gonna work. You're gonna get thrown in jail and you're never gonna come home, fool. And you're gonna mess around and get your hood. You're gonna mess around and get your whole hood gonna get caught up in a federal indictment. These Mexicans really thought they were gonna get away with this. Now this fool is from Dallas, Texas.
DHS says he put a $10,000 in blocking police vehicles with their bodies and bicycles. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Meet Eduardo Aguilar, a Mexican national living in Dallas, Texas illegally. DHS says he put a $10,000 hit out for the murder of ICE agents in a TikTok post. Some of these bounties have reached up to $50,000.
Now, you know you got to be retarded if you use a TikTok post to send a death threat to put a hit on a federal agent. This idiot used a TikTok post as if they're not going to trace that stuff right back to you. What an idiot.
For the killing or kidnapping of high-ranking officials. Here's another example. TikTok post. Some of these bounties have reached up to $50,000 for the killing or kidnapping of high-ranking officials. Here's another example. This is anti-ICE caller who wishes for law enforcement agents to get doxxed.
You know, it's always the bad guys who need masks, not the good ones. I hope every one of those lawless who call ICE officers get doxxed one by one, and they get the public shaming they deserve.
Man, well, the DHS recently put out a statement defending these ICE agents, stating, quote, from bounties placed on their heads for their murders, threats to their families, stalking and doxing online, our officers are experiencing an unprecedented level of violence and threats against them and their families. This violence against law enforcement must end. And meet Kat Abugazala, a 26-year-old self-branded influencer running for Congress as a Democrat in Illinois. You can see her right there in pigtails at an anti-ICE protest last month at Illinois' Broadview facility, blocking a police cruiser from lawfully doing their job. She's now been charged for, quote, assaulting, resisting, and impeding a federal law enforcement officer in the performance of their duties. Abugazala is pushing back on the charges brought against her, calling her indictment, quote, political prosecution.
This is a political prosecution and a gross attempt to silence dissent, a right protected under the First Amendment. This case is a major push by the Trump administration to criminalize protest and punish anyone who speaks out against them.
I mean, Paul, just looking over some of the court filings of what's happening in Illinois, you find damage. There seems to be an attack on ICE.
Listen, this one's not that complicated, all right? The laws are in place. ICE is out there to enforce the laws that are on the books. The previous administration let in 12 million unvetted, and they're trying to clean it up. If you break the law, you got to accept the consequences. What kills me is that they go do this.
That's what happens when people become entitled. They've gotten away with this crap for way too long. This is what happens when you allow border hoppers to multiply your country. The border hoppers have anchor babies, and the anchor babies become agitators.
They tweet it out to Virtue Signal, and then they're shocked when ICE IDs them and shows up and says, hey, you broke the law, you got to go. That's it. Here's the thing that I think we can use to advance the story, and this is important. You got to map the networks. The quick one-and-done arrest, and then the judges give them a slap on the wrist, and out they go. That is ineffective. This is the point of the spear of the whole Soros ecosystem. Now, these are the same crews.
Right. In the state of Florida, if you notice, you don't see none of this protesting going on in Florida. They say, you get in our way, we running you over. You throw a rock at us, we're gonna bust on you. In Florida, they say, nah, you throw a rock at us, we gonna roll that window down and bust on you. We gonna let loose on you. Florida ain't playing. They said, try that protest and stuff in Florida. You come down here and protest and get in front of our vehicle, we running you over. You threaten us or you throw something at our vehicle, we busting on you. They're gonna be picking you up off the ground. They're not playing this nonsense in Florida. Chicago and Los Angeles and New York City, these are liberal cities, so they tolerate this nonsense. Florida is a red state. They're not going to tolerate this protesting, throwing rocks, making threats. They say you do any of that in Florida, we will open fire. We will run you over. Florida ain't going to play these games with them.
That tore apart our campuses, that destroyed the cities during the 2020 Summer of Love. It's all the same ecosystem. You got to map that ecosystem. I hope the feds are building a very fulsome database to ID everybody, trace the money, because that's so important here. Map these networks going forward, because that's how you get the big conspiracy charges. That's how you cut this stuff off at the root. And I'm going to tell you something else that they absolutely hate that I don't think has been leveraged enough. The only guy doing it is Andy Ngo on X. You got to put up their mugshots. You got to expose them. They hate that because they all want to do this stuff. It's performative. They had their fun day in the field. Then they go back to East Cupcake and they live their lives and they get married and they have kids and they talk about their wild days when they were kids. No, this should follow their lives. Because if you're going to attack ICE agents, you can attack federal agents with bricks, rocks, especially if you're an illegal, that should not be one and done. It should stay with you.
I got to stay away from East Cupcake if that's where they're all heading back.
Or is that a place with good cupcakes?
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I'm heading there. This is Governor Pritzker. Here's what he had to say. This is the real villain who he has to keep tabs on.
The courts and the Congress can eventually hold people accountable. It is imperative that none of the impropriety, brutality, and harassment perpetrated upon our people goes unnoticed. Every instance of abuse, of law breaking, or violent and violations of rights needs to be documented and archived.
I mean, Donna, it sounds like he's keeping documents on ICE, the people protecting themselves from lawbreakers.
It's unbelievable. From the people.
Right. Mexico is throwing people out of their country right now. And we're talking about people from neighboring countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, Colombia. And these are Latinos. These are their Latino brothers and sisters. But Mexico don't care. Mexico, they're getting rid of them. But Mexicans come over here and cry racism for the same thing that they're doing in Mexico. Nobody's calling Mexico racist for enforcing their immigration policies. But Mexicans want to call America racist for enforcing our immigration policies. When have you ever heard somebody call Mexico racist for enforcing immigration policies? You never heard it. But they feel like they can come to America and do stuff that they know Mexico wouldn't tolerate. Mexico wouldn't tolerate it, but they expect us to tolerate it. And why do they expect for us to tolerate it? Because we allowed these people to get away with this stuff for way too long. Now we're dealing with a bunch of freeloading, entitled immigrants. That's what we're dealing with.
Who have let criminals go are now all of a sudden worried about criminals who are trying to do the right thing. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. Trying to turn around what's happening out there and making it look as if the good guys are the ones causing the problems. I mean, this is just unreal. You cannot keep a city safe. You cannot keep a state safe and allow this to go on. You have to remove these people. And since when have we started to say it's okay to let this go by without saying these are laws that are being broken, laws that we have to look at and say we must enforce them, because if we don't, this is what happens. And this idea that the woman running in Illinois is being politically prosecuted, no, she is standing in front of a vehicle, impeding that vehicle from moving. That is a crime. You don't get to just say, oh, my behavior is excused because I have a different political view. No, your behavior is criminal. And we have to stop this. And I agree with Paul. We have to make sure these people are held accountable, and they don't want to be put on blast, because if they are, they lose their jobs, because businesses are saying, okay, well, we can't have these people around, sometimes schools. So I agree.
So now you see that. Let's hear from the ICE agents now, man. Let's see what the ICE agents had to say. You know?
19 past now, and nearly 150 illegal truckers are now off the road after a massive DHS bust. That operation took place in Indiana as part of Operation Midway Blitz. Officials say that some of the suspects had prior convictions for theft, drug trafficking.
Illegal alien trucker crackdown. Listen, man, if you're not a citizen of this country, you ain't got no damn business driving no trucks. Those jobs should be for American citizens only. And I'm not even talking about anchor babies, because technically anchor babies are not even American citizens. If you want to get technical, these trucker jobs should be for the citizens of this country only, not for no anchor babies, not for no damn illegals.
And assaults. In Broadview, Illinois, the scene of many moments over these past several Fridays.
Let's get some of you guys to bless the super chat and bless the cash app. Let's get some contributors. Let's get some people who appreciate the content. But yeah, man, like I said, homie, we don't need no illegal immigrants to become truckers in this country. They should never get a CDL. How you gonna give a CDL to a damn illegal immigrant?
West of Chicago is Mike Tobin on that and more. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Friday in Broadview. We usually see the crowds pile up. The crowd is pretty small this morning. They wear costumes anyway, so you wouldn't notice it's Halloween. But it's a pretty small group right now that doesn't look like they are poised for a clash, at least not anytime soon. But you mentioned DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announcing that Operation Midway Blitz now also includes a crackdown on illegals driving trucks. In recent weeks, we've seen cases like Jashanpreet Singh. He entered the country illegally in 2022, was allowed to go free under the Biden administration. He's now accused of driving an 18-wheeler drunk and causing a fiery crash that killed 3 people last week. A case out of Florida involves a driver named Hajinder Singh. He entered the U.S. illegally in 2018, failed his commercial driver's test 10 times. He's now accused of causing a crash that killed.
So he failed the test 10 times. How in the hell is he driving trucks? He's an idiot. He's incompetent. He ain't got no damn business driving no trucks in the first place. This fool failed the test 10 times. Clearly, he's incompetent.
3 people in Florida in August. Secretary Noem says 150 illegal migrants driving trucks have been taken off the road, and she promises more to come.
Too many families across this country have felt pain and been victimized and lost loved ones because of these illegal drivers. If you are here driving on our streets illegally and our highways, you are endangering our citizens, and your days are numbered.
Noem also refused a request from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker to halt the immigration enforcement for Halloween. In fact, she called that request shameful. DHS says some 3,000 people have now been arrested or detained as part of Operation Midway Blitz.
Okay, we'll watch that. We'll watch the action where you are, too. Thank you, Mike. Mike Tobin, Broadview, Illinois.
I've sent a letter to Kristi Noem and to the Department of Homeland Security leadership asking them to pause all of their federal agent operations for the entirety of the Halloween weekend. I'm asking,
why would they pause their operations? To protect some damn illegals. That doesn't make any sense. Look at all these damn anchor babies and illegal immigrants standing behind Pritzker.
asking for basic human decency. Give the children. And
so they're looking for human decency. Why don't they go back to their own country and ask for human decency? We don't owe these people anything. We don't owe these people anything in this country. Go back to your homeland and demand that they treat you like human beings in your homeland, in your own country. You don't get to come over here illegally and demand that we do something for you. What the hell is wrong with these people? Why don't you go south of the border and demand that you're treated like human beings over there? You don't get to make demands over here.
the families of weekend.
I want y'all to listen to this nonsense again.
Asking them to pause. I've sent a letter to Kristi Noem and to the Department of Homeland Security leadership asking them to pause all of their federal agent operations for the entirety of the Halloween weekend. I'm asking for basic human decency. Give the children and the families of Illinois a break.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker once again lashing out against the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and calling on DHS to pause operations for Halloween weekend. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem denying that request and pushing back.
No, we're absolutely not willing to put on pause any work that we will do to keep communities safe. The fact that Governor Pritzker is asking for that is shameful. And I think unfortunate that he doesn't recognize how important the work is that we do to make sure we're bringing criminals to justice and getting them off our streets, especially when we're going to send all of our kiddos out on the streets and going to events and enjoying the holiday season. We want to make sure that they're safe.
Let's bring in Ron Vitiello, CBP Senior Advisor. Ron, thank you for joining us. You know, you hear from the DHS Secretary that you can't let up this.
He said, we want federal authorities to put a pause in their operations so that illegal immigrants can do whatever they want to do without being arrested and pulled over. So just let illegals do whatever they want to do. Tell federal authorities to fall back on their operations. If that ain't stupidity, I don't know what is. She said, yeah, hell no, we're not going to pause our operations. We're going to continue to move forward, and we're going to arrest every illegal that we see. Hell no, we're not going to sit up there and pause our operations to make these damn illegals comfortable, to make these damn illegals happy. No, sir. No, sirree, Bob.
This work is absolutely critical. And then you hear from the governor saying, just let our kids have a break. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a contrast in leadership, right? You have President Trump in the White House empowering the front line, allowing Secretary Noem to lead her troops to make America safe, both in Chicago, in the state of Illinois, in the entire homeland. And then you have the governor of Illinois who doesn't want anyone in the United States deported, including criminal aliens, narco terrorists, and people in Chicago who are hurting his citizens, hurting the citizens of Illinois. So it's a contrast in leadership. And I think the American people made a choice last November to have safe streets, to have secure borders, and we are delivering on that in CBP. ICE is doing the same, led by the Secretary, and we're having an effect. And you saw the cooperation, the state of Indiana with the governor present yesterday at the press conference, the Department of Transportation, and all of the interagency working together to help secure America, prevent these preventable accidents and crime caused by illegal aliens.
So Pritzker is pointing to this incident in Old Irving Park where there was a raid that happened. It was a targeted enforcement operation, reportedly, but it was going on right as a family or a group of families were preparing for a Halloween parade. Pritzker is saying, basically using this incident to stoke the belief that CBP is not going after the worst of the worst. Listen to what he says here.
So don't believe it when they
I want you to listen to this horse crap, because that's exactly what it is. Horse crap. Cow manure. Horse crap. That's exactly what Pritzker is talking. He's not going after the worst of the worst. Tom Homan said it. If you're here illegally, you're on the table. If we run across you, you're going to get deported. You can't come here illegally and demand rights that you don't deserve. Why don't you go south of the border and demand civil rights over there? You're not going to get them over here. If you're here in this country illegally, then you're on the table. Plain and simple.
Worst of the worst. Listen to what he says here.
So don't believe it when they tell you that they're busting the worst of the worst gangs or gang members. They're attacking peaceful neighborhoods.
Shout out to my man for sponsoring the show, man. Shout out to Noah for sponsoring the show. Shout out to Fear None for the super chat. So we got Noah Randall, man. Hit the like button. Shout out to Noah for sponsoring the show. Bossing up with that 5-0 with the sponsor of the show. Let's go.
and terrorizing kids in Halloween parades. Hardworking and law-abiding but undocumented parents snatched away.
Governor Pritzker has no damn business being Governor Pritzker has no business being the governor of Illinois. He's doing a terrible job. He's fighting to legalize border hopping. What a shame. And he's the governor of Illinois.
Neighborhoods and terrorizing kids in Halloween parades. Hardworking and law-abiding but undocumented parents snatched away. Snatched away.
Yeah, shout out to Noah Randall for sponsoring the show with that 5-0 on the Cash app. Let's get back to the content. No doubt.
From their children. The children left terrorizing kids in Halloween parades. Hardworking and law-abiding but undocumented parents snatched away. Snatched away from their children. The children left at the side of the road. Is this what Kristi Noem and Donald Trump mean when they say the worst of the worst?
So in this incident, apparently there was tear gas or some other agent that was used. A federal judge cited that incident as cause basically to point to telling Bovino, you got to make sure that your agents are not using chemical weapons without proper notification to the people who might be in the area. Are you able to say whether that was that guideline was met in this case, or is Pritzker using this as a moment to?
Pritzker has no damn business being the governor. He's doing a terrible job. Governor Pritzker is fighting to legalize border hopping.
Politically posture.
Well, he's continued to use rhetoric to vilify the men and women of the front line who swore an oath like he did to protect his constituency. They are out there arresting people who are in the country illegally. In this case, it was a targeted enforcement operation.
Shout out the Lion, hey man, shout out the Lions Dollars for blessing us with that 10. You dig? Shout out the Lions Dollars for the Cash App.
Operation going after a criminal alien. And when people, whether they're citizens or otherwise, get in the way of legitimate law enforcement work, put your hands on a frontline agent, you can be expected to be arrested, and they're going to use whatever tactics and techniques that they need to protect themselves. And so in that particular incident, I don't have the details, but what I can tell you is that no judge in America should tell the police how to deploy assets and resources to take criminals off the streets.
And right. You do hear the argument from the government lawyers saying you don't want to throttle the agents from responding to an escalating threat. We know that there's been a 1,000% increase in assaults and death threats against federal officers, up 800%. So we will continue to watch this closely. Ron Vitiello, thank you very much for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Right, man. Come on, man. Who in their right mind made Pritzker the governor? That dude is an idiot. He's incompetent. He's fighting to legalize border hopping. And they made that fool the governor? My God.
Like somebody might.
9 months.
Let's see what ICE had to say. Let's see what ICE had to say. Hey.
Long before this operation began, we've been pushing ICE for answers, like who are they arresting and why?
Many times, those questions about their tactics and use of force went unanswered or lacked specifics.
Tonight, after countless requests, ICE agreed to speak with our Sabrina Franza. She asked those questions again in person.
Under the cover of darkness.
Hey, good morning. I got people out here at the gate.
Chicago ICE Field Office Director Sam Olson drove us to the Broadview ICE Processing Center. On the other side of this gate, white buses. Inside them, people destined for out-of-state detention.
There are people that have told us that they're afraid to leave their homes, citizen or non-citizen, because they feel like somebody might believe that they're in the country illegally. What would you say to those people that feel like they might be profiled in the situation?
Yeah, we don't profile. Like even in the Chicago office, we probably have probably people from 100 different nationalities, different countries, like in our custody. That's not something that we do. What we do is like we enforce the law. Like we will talk to people, and if they are here illegally, yeah, like they can be arrested. But again, like it's not, we're not just randomly going out and just, you know, trying to like, you know, arrest somebody who's not arrestable.
What makes someone suspicious?
It could be many things, right? I mean, like there's no like one indicator.
We've seen enhanced immigration enforcement both by Border Patrol and ICE frequently in immigrant neighborhoods like Little Village, Cicero, West Chicago. Still, we don't know who's on those buses. A spokesperson for ICE told us we might not ever know, citing privacy concerns. They only named some they call the worst of the worst as a matter of public interest.
You're going after the most violent, worst of the worst is what we keep hearing. But the data doesn't always support that.
Sure, and while we try to target the worst of the worst, like there's times that we don't always be able to arrest the worst of the worst.
An analysis of DHS data shows that on September 21st, 72% of people detained nationally didn't have a criminal conviction. 25% of those people are facing pending charges.
He's like a weapons arrest, so that's why we're using some of our tactical team to do it.
After we break from here, we're going to head over to G4.
Officers were looking for a 44-year-old Mexican national.
He's got a black Tundra he drives.
Facing recent felony charges and they say 2 prior convictions.
He had an autistic adult son with him. So if he has that son with him again, there is a wife or a mom in the house. So we're gonna have her come get the kid.
We set out.
We're nearing the target location.
Waited about an hour on this quiet Burbank block.
Because this is a lot of work for one person.
It really is, and you see, like I said, like eight officers here. You know, part of the different tactical teams.
Did it look like the target or not?
ICE spotted a man who they say matched their description, took him to a parking lot near the Burbank Police Department.
So there was no resisting.
Yes, they say targeting custody.
At all. So it went exactly the way that we'd liked it to.
ICE, they say he'd been previously convicted of solicitation in 2013 and for driving with a suspended license. We could not independently confirm the solicitation conviction, but could confirm he's currently facing charges for burglary, theft, and illegal possession of a firearm. He pleaded not guilty. We asked why so often federal agents are recorded making
This fool was crawling. Look. This dude was crawling on the ground.
of a firearm. He pleaded
Look.
not guilty. We asked why so often federal agents are recorded
Hey, he was on that fool back right there.
not guilty. We asked why so often federal agents are recorded making arrests on the ground.
Why is that something that we see over and over again?
And it could be, like, I mean, that
See that again. Yeah, that fool, look, he was on his back. Then he grabbed him up.
Pleaded not guilty. We asked why so often
Oh,
federal
no.
agents are recorded making arrests on the ground.
Why is that something that we see over and over again?
and it could be, like, I mean, that's just a way to arrest somebody. Like, if somebody has been resisting and we can't control them, like, we use the ground as help to be able to control them. You know, if they're resisting, if somebody hasn't been resisting, that's not normally a tactic that we do.
We went from Burbank to Harvey, no arrests there. Then in South Chicago, agents believed they spotted a car they were looking for.
We have one guy cuffed here. Again, this guy's on the ground because he took off.
But then they found this man running, someone they said they weren't originally looking for. They told us he had a Venezuelan ID. Agents asked why he ran.
¿Por qué correr? Por miedo.
He said he was afraid.
¿Por qué correr?
ICE never told us his name. Aside from his apparent immigration status, we don't know what he's being accused of.
And the targets are predetermined.
We've been focusing on targeted enforcement here. While we're out in the field on targeted enforcement, we may, through other investigations, come up with somebody who wasn't a prior target.
We asked if we can expect federal agents at food pantries.
Is that something you see happening in Chicago?
You know, for us, we go where the targets are, and essentially like that could be, we take like a whole approach to each target, and depending on like when is the best possibility that we can arrest somebody, depending on where it might be, where they live, where they work, on the way to work, and that's kind of where we go.
Can you understand why immigrants are afraid right now?
I mean, I don't want to say that I understand.
They should be afraid. They don't want to go back home. The answer is very simple. They're afraid because they don't want to go back home. They want to stay in America and soak up all of our resources. They don't want to go back to that third world country. That's why they're scared. They know that we're coming, and that's why they're scared. It's not because we're abusing them and doing something to them. We're simply enforcing the damn law. And they're afraid that we're going to come and pick them up and enforce that law. That's why they're scared. It's not because we're abusing these people. We're just doing our damn job. That's exactly what I would have said. Why are these immigrants scared? Listen, homie, it's common sense.
It's kind of where we go to each target.
They are scared because they don't want to go back home, not because ICE is abusing them.
And depending on like when is the best possibility that we can arrest somebody, depending on where it might be, where they live, where they work, on the way to work, and that's kind of where we go.
Can you understand why immigrants are afraid right now?
I mean, I don't want to say that I understand why they're afraid. I understand that it is known that we are going out. We do have enforcement teams in the field 7 days a week now, enforcing, you know, anybody who is in violation of immigration law could be arrested.
According to DHS, there have been 3,000 immigration arrests since this operation began. For context, there's an estimated 500,000 undocumented immigrants in Illinois. We asked how.
It's way more than 500,000 immigrants in the state of Illinois. They lying. Do you honestly believe that there's only 500,000 of immigrants in the state of Illinois? You got to triple that number. It ain't just 500,000 in the state of Illinois. They're lying about those numbers. Man, please. It's only technically 500,000. Even 500,000 is too much. That's even too much. But you got to triple those numbers to come up with an accurate. You got to triple that to come up with an accurate number. It's way more than 500,000 immigrants in the state of Illinois. Man, please. Don't you believe that nonsense? Yeah. Don't sit up there and tell that lie. Like it's only just 500,000. Man, you better triple that number.
Tonight, immigration officers took 10 women into custody, all part of several massage parlor raids in Baton Rouge.
The sheriff's office says it was part of a worksite enforcement operation that involved 9 businesses across East Baton Rouge Parish.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Well, we exclusively embedded with the Austin Police Department while they raided these illicit massage parlors. Now, they weren't just going after traffickers and these organized crime networks. They were also trying to rescue as many.
Get off my screen. Hold on 1 second. I don't know what the hell this is. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me get this off of the screen.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Well, we exclusively embedded with the Austin Police Department while they raided these illicit massage parlors. Now, they weren't just going after traffickers and these organized crime networks. They were also trying to rescue as many victims as possible. Now, at last check, there were more than 30 people who were arrested, charged with trafficking and other charges as part of this investigation. And then more than 60 victims found nationwide. The youngest, I'm told, was just 14 years old. She was being trafficked on an escort site and forced to service more than 10 men a day. Thankfully, her suspected.
Shout out to Royalty for blessing us with a Cash App as well. Shout out to my man Royalty. Royalty is in the comments. Shout out to my dog for the love on the Cash App for that big 10, that big old 10. You dig?
trafficker was one of those arrested during this op, Bill.
Wow, that's some eye-opening reporting there. Brooke, thank you on that.
At 11:20 p.m., under a blood-red sky, the silence broke like glass. 3 flashbangs detonated in rapid fire, thunder, smoke, and chaos. Black-clad agents stormed the Lotus Spa, rifles raised, hearts steady. Behind soft music and dim lights, America's newest nightmare hid in plain sight. 19 women, terrified, bound, and watched through hidden cameras, stared back at freedom for the first time. Their passports were gone. Their silence was bought. But tonight, the walls finally cracked. The FBI,
This right here is in Austin, Texas.
ICE, and Homeland Security weren't raiding a spa. They were dismantling a $2.4 billion empire built on human slavery.
Investigators say that they busted a human trafficking and money laundering scheme tied to 4 massage parlors in the Denver area.
It
Now they're in Denver.
As a routine probe. 4 massage parlors in Denver, suspected of money laundering and human trafficking. But what investigators found didn't just shock them. It detonated a nationwide operation spanning 7 states, dozens of shell
See,
companies.
not only are these illegal immigrants human trafficking, they are drug trafficking. They're trafficking human beings. They're trafficking drugs across the border. They're doing all type of stuff.
And one syndicate hiding in plain sight. For 18 months, FBI field agents quietly mapped the network's movement from Tuscaloosa to Houston, Denver to San Antonio. Every spa told the same story. Neon lights, closed curtains, and women who never seemed to leave. At night, unmarked vans arrived. By morning, new faces replaced the old. Each location was a node in something far greater.
Signs after a series of massage parlors were raided in prostitution stings.
This comes after raids at 7 parlors in Bell County, including 3 in Temple. Channel 6 News reporter Curtis Quitland is here. And Curtis, the women in these cases were here illegally.
Jade Serpent Syndicate, a hybrid cartel merging Asian trafficking rings with South American drug lords. When agents finally moved, they did it with precision. At exactly 11:20 p.m., black SUVs slid into position around the Lotus Spa. A tactical countdown echoed through the comms. Alpha team set. Bravo breach. Execute. Flashbangs erupted. Glass shattered. Federal agents stormed the hallways, boots pounding against tile. Inside, a maze of rooms filled with trembling women, some whispering prayers in Mandarin, others frozen in shock. In the back office, boxes labeled massage oil split open to reveal bricks of fentanyl and cocaine stacked like treasure.
7 massage parlors were shut down during raids in Queens after police say they were actually brothels. Mayor Adams was there as officers raided the businesses along Roosevelt Avenue.
Part of several massage parlor raids in Baton Rouge.
The sheriff's office says it was part of a worksite enforcement operation that involved 9 businesses across East Baton Rouge Parish. News 2's David Hamilton reports.
Yeah, Michael, Sylvia, 11 agencies were involved in this investigation. The sheriff's office said deputies began the investigation last year following tips about prostitution.
All right, now we're gonna go back to that one. Check this out, man. That's the massage parlor, man. Let's go to this one right here, and then I'm gonna see who we got.
The interaction with federal agents happened at this intersection of Asbury and Oakton. That's when neighbors say the federal agents took at least 2 people away after allegedly causing a traffic accident. Now this afternoon, a protest rally.
Now we back in Chicago. Evanston is, I believe, like on the north side of Chicago. So all my Chicago people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Evanston is on the north side of Chicago. Let's go.
Where Evanston officials denounced the action of these federal agents and accused them of deliberately causing chaos while brutalizing people.
ICE agents.
Shout out to my man Terry for blessing us with a cash app. Terry, I appreciate you for the cash app, bro. Shout out to the brothers for supporting this show. Shout out to Fear to None and the rest of the brothers who blessed that super chat.
Have assaulted Evanston residents, beaten people up, grabbed them, abducted them, taking people off the street once again because of the color of their skin. It is an outrage.
Because of the color of their skin. No, they're here illegally. You're talking dumb. They're not arresting people for the color of their skin. They are deporting people. Why? Because they're here illegally.
Our message for ICE is simple. Get the hell out of Evanston. It is an outrage. Abducted them, taking people off the street once again because of the color of their skin. It is an outrage. Our message for ICE is simple: get the hell out of Evanston.
Words of anger and defiance as the mayor of Evanston and its residents gathered in protest to react to federal agents taking at least 2 people into custody after allegedly.
Yeah, I knew Evanston had to be up north, man. You know, I'm kind of familiar with Chicago, so I said, nah, Evanston got to be up north, right? Yeah, I already knew. He said they're arresting people because of the color of their skin. No, that's because they're here in this country illegally. I love it when they try to tell that bold-faced lie, like they're just being harassed for the color of their skin. Never mind the fact that they came here illegally and they're undocumented.
Causing a traffic accident. It happened a few blocks from an elementary school. Witnesses say a man and a woman in a red car have been following the agents to warn people of the danger. That's when they say the agents slammed on their brakes just past the intersection, causing the people in the car following them to rear end them. Neighbors say the agents then violently pulled the man and woman out of their car. We are blurring their faces because we do not know if they have been charged. That's when members of a neighborhood watch patrol who were nearby and heard the crash came to see what happened. That's when one of the agents allegedly pulled a gun on one of the bystanders and then threatened to pepper spray him.
And I saw ICE officers pulling a woman and throwing her on the ground, just a citizen, an elderly gentleman who maybe 65 or so, that they threw him down the ground and bloodied his face up. And I saw an officer on a film when a protester goes, "Where's your warrant? Where's your warrant?" drew a gun at him with no de-escalation at all.
Now, witnesses say the federal agents then threw that man and woman into their vehicle and simply drove away. It's unclear where those individuals are or if they have been charged with any crime. We did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment, but have not yet heard back. Now, with plenty of people trick-or-treating this evening, residents in Evanston are going to be out in full force, they say, with their whistles, making sure that they keep their neighborhoods safe.
Yeah. I'm sick of hearing all this stupid stuff. I'm tired of it.
Everything we've been hearing on the news.
Let's go to this. I got another clip of Chicago. Hold on. I should have queued these things and I wouldn't have to keep going into my history thing, but it's all right, man. It's all right. We're going to find it. It's all right.
Well, in Evanston today, residents rallied after federal agents conducted immigration enforcement operations today. It sparked lots of outrage.
New video shared with WGN tonight shows controversial tactics by Border Patrol. WGN's Jewel Hillary explains what residents say unfolded.
Shame! This is not okay! Get the out of Evanston!
When I came up on her, they were tearing her out of the car. She was on the ground. Her shoes fell off.
Allie Harnett says she saw that woman after the red car the woman was driving collided into a federal agent's vehicle near the intersection of Oakton and Asbury around 12:15 Friday afternoon.
Witnesses say that ICE absolutely caused the accident. They stopped the car, they boxed her in. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but she was not about to rear end ICE on purpose.
This video shot shortly after the crash shows a disturbance between immigration agents and residents at the intersection. Evanston police supervisors responded to help stabilize the scene. Harnett says several people observing were detained.
This is wrong. How can you live with yourself?
I saw them wrestle 2 people to the ground.
You do not belong here.
Those 3 people were taken away. We have no idea where they are. We are trying to figure out.
They should have put that fool in jail. Look at this. Like he gonna stop, man. They should have body slammed that fool and put him in handcuffs. Like you gonna stop me from doing my job. Look at this anchor baby.
You do not belong here.
Those 3 people were taken away. We have no idea where they are. We are trying to figure out who they are so that we can tell their loved ones and try to help them. There are people who are willing to be legal advocates for them.
Immigration agents were also spotted at Crane and Asbury. This video showing a landscaper being questioned. Shortly after the incidents,
Our message for ICE is simple: get the hell out of Evanston.
Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss, who was on the scene earlier in the day, united with hundreds of community members standing together in solidarity.
I cannot thank enough the incredible group of people standing behind me, people patrolling the streets of Evanston right now, rising up together, arm in arm, to keep our neighbors safe.
Immigrants are welcome here. ICE is not.
Arm in arm to keep our neighbors safe.
Immigrants are welcome here. ICE is not.
Evanston police.
I want to hear that again.
Say one
arm in arm to keep our neighbors safe.
Immigrants are welcome here. ICE is not.
Evanston police say one driver was arrested during today's disturbance. They also say the confrontation between agents and residents may have reportedly led to one or two other arrests. We have reached out to DHS for comment but have not heard back yet. Reporting in Evanston, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
Now here's the government's response. The Department of Homeland Security spokesperson claimed that agents noticed a red vehicle tailgating them, crashing into Border Patrol as they were making a U-turn. They add a hostile crowd then surrounded the agents and their vehicle and began verbally abusing them and spitting on them. As Border Patrol arrested one individual who actively resisted arrest, pepper spray was deployed to deter the agitator and to disperse the crowd. 3 U.S. citizens were arrested as a result of their violence against law enforcement.
We are here because we are protesting injustice that is occurring in our very country. We are here because we are protesting what has occurred in Evanston and in Skokie the last few days. It is unjust, it is immoral, it is malevolent.
He got to be a Rainbow community member sitting up there caping for these damn illegals. Man, get out of here, fool.
It is evil.
And in Evanston, residents rally after federal agents conducted immigration enforcement operations today, sparking lots of outrage.
WGN's Jewel Hillary is live in the north suburb with details on what unfolded. Jewel?
Hi, good evening, you all. The intersection of Oakton and Asbury here in...
Man, let me see something, man. Who want to come up, man? You guys want to pull up and add something? We got like 20 more minutes, man. I got 20 more minutes. So if you come up, man, be brief. You can speak about the Latin Kings who put the hit out on the ICE agents, speak about the entitlement. Give me your thoughts on everything that's going on with this immigration situation, man. You know, crazy. Sitting up there caping for them damn illegals. Man, please, get out of here.
Evanston, which is just blocks away from a middle school filled with immigration agents and people confronting them earlier today. One woman that we talked to says she actually saw agents draw their weapons to clear the scene.
And when I came up on her, they were tearing her out of the car. She was on the ground. Her shoes fell off.
Allie Harnett says she saw that woman after the red car the woman was driving collided into this gray SUV.
Big E, what it do, bro?
Man, what it do, Red? Man, this is absolutely insane to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, I said this in the chat. This is they so mad at Trump because Trump done killed their money. Really look at it. Damn the politics. You cannot pull off what's going on without having a major political backing to insulate you. You get what I'm saying? Dude, come on. We're watching illegal driver's license. We're watching trafficking, right? We're watching people working with illegal IDs and social security numbers, et cetera, right? There is no massage parlors, Red, you see in the videos. There is no way, and I mean, when I tell you no way, you could pull this off without having police chiefs, judges, politicians that go pretty high up the ladder. You get what I'm saying? Because if you look at it, what was the old boy that unalived Laken Riley? They handled him with kid gloves. All of these dudes that's getting caught with this, look at what they did for old boy they sent to El Salvador. Come to find out, he was a trafficker and some more stuff, right? Handling him with kid gloves. If any one of them dudes would have been black, guess what? You are under the jail. You get what I'm saying? They get to look, they are attacking ICE agents. They are doxing ICE agents. They are putting bounties on ICE. How are you not doing this without a political backing? You see, Red, they barely want to give these dudes time. These dudes was already getting caught for doing criminal activity, right? And then you find out that they was released on the promise to come back, and then they never come back. So they just out there committing crimes. I don't know if it was Lotus or somebody pointed out in the chat that a lot of these dudes that's getting caught already had deportation orders, bro. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, how is this not a criminal enterprise? Just like that last dude. Oh, these are hardworking people. Wait a minute, he had a jammy and was wanted for robbery and whatever else he said. How is this hard working? Where is this hard working? So far, you watching ICE agents busting dudes. They finding weapons. They finding drugs. They're finding people. They're finding kids. They're finding fake IDs, social security numbers, CDLs. How is this not an enterprise? Ain't none of this coincidence. None of this is a coincidence. You see what I'm saying? See, what it was Trump was never supposed to get reelected. So all them promises that they made and everything they was getting away with come to a screeching halt. Now ask yourself this, why would the cartel want to declare war on the American government if promises wasn't made? They ain't been doing it. But now all of a sudden you want to aim at, oh, okay, you see what I'm saying? Somebody gonna pay. They made all them promises. Somebody, look, they told you what? The massage parlors was bringing in 2.5 million. Y'all saw the video of he blowing up the gunboats. He done shut down the border. So that means all that, it might be a little bit trickling through, but not what was coming through under the previous administration. Ain't no more of them guns and them switches coming through just freely like they was. Ain't no more of that freely coming through. So guess what? Somebody's money is being messed up right now. The trafficking rings is being affected. The dope money is being affected. Everybody is being affected, bruh. Yeah, they cashed them checks. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a criminal enterprise. What does the cartel got to do? What does the cartel have to do with immigration laws? But they're involved. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude, yeah, that money been spent. They was like, oh, okay, well, it ain't our fault that Trump got elected. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we need all that still. We still need all that. You get what I'm saying? Now it's really coming out in the wash. You see, you ain't even safe on the roads no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't like driving next to trucks anyway, but goddamn, how are you gonna not be weary now? You see what I'm saying? This is a criminal enterprise right here, champ. When you come on now. You already see the game. You be in America 5 minutes. They give you a number to call. They're going to set you up with a job. They're going to set you up with housing. They're going to set you up with the L's. They're going to set you up with the CDLs. They're going to set you up with food stamps, right? They're going to set you up with everything you need upon your arrival. Everything that they would never, ever, ever, ever in this lifetime. Look, they crashing out. Because them illegals was their new voter base. See what I'm saying? That's why it was so many of them over here and they was doing all this gerrymandering and all of this. That's why California stay blue. Because it's right next to the border. That's why Gavin out here tripping. And all y'all, well, see, we told y'all, man, y'all don't see this play. What do y'all think? Y'all don't think that under Kamala, if y'all was complaining already, if she'd have got back in office, bro, it's over. So you can't have that both ways. Oh, yeah, we glad to see you go. Oh, but y'all should have voted for Kamala. No, y'all need to just sit down and shut up. because they are doing things. They are fighting a fight for illegals that they would never fight for your black AZZ, bruh. Democrats have never, ever, ever in the history of that party fought for you the way that they are fighting for a criminal enterprise. And that means you have to assume that means that's where your money was coming in at. Come on, Red, the state, look, they look. Dudes in Florida and other states is linked back to getting CDLs from out here. You see what I'm saying? These truck, you remember the truck driver in Florida? He got that truck driver's license out here. The one that just happened on the 10. Okay, see, Gavin is in on that. You not Red, you know how the DMV is out here, bruh. They damn near gonna draw blood from you. You know what I'm saying? When you go in there trying to get a license, anything. But apparently they know where to go to get the hookup. They know where to go to get the EBT. They know where to go and who to talk to hurry up and move in housing. You get what I'm saying? They knew what they knew who could open up stuff they closed down for blacks. Now, but we're going to open it up for them. We're going to smack y'all right in y'all face. We're going to take this away from y'all and give it to them. And not only that, we're going to let these criminal illegals who we really don't even know who they are, we're going to turn them loose in your neighborhood around you, your mamas, your daddies, your kids, your aunties, your uncles, your sons, your daughters. You get what I'm saying? Red, you seeing when they arresting these dudes, it's like, dude, look at their record. Look at what they in on. This is your Democratic Party at work. You know how you hear them be talking about, oh, well, you know, we relying on this dark money. Where you think it's coming from? They criminal enterprise. You don't think somebody in the DMV in the state getting greased up off giving away? I bet you if they went to Class C license, I guarantee you more than half the state ain't going to be able to drive no more, let alone the truck driver's license. You know what I'm saying? If they impose, like Red, you know, if you get a ticket and don't show up, instead of that ticket being $100, $200, they hit you with heavy penalty assessments, right? So a ticket that was about $100, $200, that mess by the time he done with you, you're going to be paying about $1,200 for a $100 ticket. Okay, all these places that's calling themselves employing these illegals, knowing they working under fake IDs, knowing that they working under fake social security numbers, et cetera, they need to be heavily fined with penalty assessments, period. And I guarantee you, you'll see all of this stuff come to a grinding halt, because now, guess what? You got to go fight them court cases now. The same way that they take away money from rich black people, the same thing, the same way you take it away from rich white people. Start hitting them with them court cases and them fines and them settlements, et cetera, et cetera. I guarantee you they stop it.
Well, yeah, Biggie. Well, shit, this is what we gonna do. I got like 10 more minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let Miss Red go, then I'm gonna let Pretty Boy go, then we gonna shut it down, man.
For sure.
Shout out to everybody for pulling up, man. Go ahead, Miss Red.
Hi everyone. Shout out to the panel, Big E, Pretty Boy, everyone in the chat. I just wanted to say that it's mighty funny since the DMV, the California DMV has been seized. They're making you come in to retake the test if you're up for renewal. Like, they have so much going on with this DMV because they're trying to make sure that everybody that is coming in and coming back up for renewal and to get their licenses. They're also making you bring in all of your documents, all of them. So, usually on renewal, you're able to just renew, online and keep it pushing, but they're not allowing that. And one thing that I noticed that I didn't understand before, but I understand now, Florida makes it very difficult for you to get your license, and that's not necessarily on purpose. Um, like they require so much. They want bills, leases, and sometimes even that's not enough, especially if you're from out of state and you're moving and then to Florida. And so that was something else that I noticed as well with a friend of mine that moved from Texas to Florida, and they were kind of experiencing or having a hard time getting a license because they just moved in with someone. And so it was making it increasingly difficult. But Monique mentioned something that was very interesting that I think a lot of people don't know. She said that those that are south of the border that come here, they can't sell or refinance their homes to make a profit because they get the houses for free.
Oh,
So one thing that I noticed is um, there are a majority of people that are getting Section 8 and getting to the top of the list are illegals. And so what happens when they get these vouchers, they have the ability to be able to get homes for these vouchers and obtain a home. But the thing about California is what they do is technically, as long as you qualify for your home through whatever bank or whatever channel that you choose to finance your home with one of their programs, you don't have to pay a cent back as long as you live in that home. Ever. If you live there for 30 years, you don't have to pay it at all.
Wow.
Up until if you wanted to sell it, then that's when your loan is due. So I just thought that was very interesting. So I wanted to kind of touch on that to anybody that didn't know. So, I mean, there are programs. This stuff out here helps you. We're trying to, if anybody's ever wondering how these people are obtaining homes, this is how they're obtaining them. And guys, right now, I'm not even gonna front you. I'm gonna just tell you what I know and what I hear. A lot of these housing offices are opening up their waiting lists. I'm not saying like it may be, you want to tell an entity all of your business and what you have going on. I'm just gonna spread the word because folks are moving into brand new homes. They haven't had to put anything down. There's programs that are covering their entire move-in costs, and you don't have to pay a cent, and all you have to do is just move in. So if y'all are wanting to know how some people are doing it, this is how they're doing it. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was shouts out to Monique Robinson that's in the chat. That's my girl.
Yep.
She always, put some dropping jewels in the chat. So I just wanted to share why, in case anybody was interested.
okay. Well, I appreciate your love for sliding on through. Pretty boy, man. Are you there, man? Yo, pretty boy, you there? If you
What's up, Red?
all right, go ahead. You got it, my bro.
Respect to everybody. Respect to Big E. Respect to Miss Red. How y'all doing to this post Halloween?
Just chilling, man. Just chilling,
But
man. What you got?
yeah, man. So I get it's funny to me. You know what I'm saying? I get so much pleasure out of this. You know what I'm saying? Seeing them run and get snatched up. But all facts though, you know what I'm saying? This is something that the American people voted for, the American people wanted. It's reality. It's reality is coming through. And now, like Big E said, you know what I'm saying, just to piggyback off that a little bit, you know what I'm saying, somebody's money is being messed up. And a lot of these companies, they should be getting hit with big fines for employing illegals because it is the law and they are literally breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? By employing them. It is the law already. They're supposed to receive fines. You guys can look that up. yourselves right now when they knowingly employ, illegal migrants. They are supposed to be, and they get caught, they're supposed to be hit with fines. But of course, you know what I'm saying, they find a way around it by fake IDs, you know what I mean, fake socials and things of that nature. And when you look at the actual situation that ICE is going through in regards to them being attacked, and a lot of these public officials are inciting these illegals to attack them. So isn't that the same as what they said Trump was doing as far as the insurrectionists during January 6th? Didn't they want to? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the same type of thing that they were saying that he was doing to have these fools rush the White House, and these other politicians are doing the same thing to have these illegals rush the ICE agents. Isn't it the same thing? I don't know, but I think it is. You know what I mean? So look at this is in my and this is going around in my neighborhood. I'm just going to show you guys this real quick. Okay, so this is a Protect the Community Report ICE called 203 Nomigra 203-666-4472. Call if immigration comes to your home, work, neighborhood, or if there are ICE raids nearby to receive immediate support. It's like that's right there. That flyer is going around through my neighborhood right now. So, you know, it's a big deal. And I think, and I actually sent I'm telling. So, I actually sent that email to Department of Homeland Security. And if you guys know, these governors out here, especially in our state, Newsom is corrupt. It's all outside. And we know this. We know it, Red. You know what I'm saying? It's like we know that, and we all from Cali, so we know Newsom is a criminal and he should be in jail. That fool literally at the start of this year just bought a house in Sausalito, right down the street from where Tupac Mama passed away at her house for $9 million. Where you get that money on a governor's salary to just buy a house? $9 million house. And that's why he's going so hard against these illegals. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these businesses he's in bed with, and we know they actually hire these illegals off the books. They as a 1099 and things of that nature. You know what I mean? 1099 means independent contractor, so they don't have to up no social security number for that. You know what I mean? So it's like they keep doing this over and over again. But a lot of these people, they wanted it. They wanted these people, these illegals in here. They wanted it from, they voted for Biden. They voted for Biden. They wanted Kamala in House. And right now, I don't know if you guys know, but Newsom is on a campaign trail. Have you guys noticed that? He actually is on a campaign trail. Exactly. He is on a campaign trail. He is about to be your next president, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you that right now. He is about to be your next president. Unfortunately, he's the only one. Who else? Everybody got. Who do we got right now?
Well, I don't think
After
so. I
Trump is
think he's
done.
going to jail.
If he go to jail, I hope Trump put him in jail. But right now he's on the campaign trail. So if he don't go to jail, if him and Pritzker don't go to jail, you know what I'm saying, he's about to be the next president. And I saw in the paper yesterday, 2 days ago, San Francisco Chronicle had him and Kamala on a big bright picture in like California's run for the presidency. You can look it up, San Francisco Chronicle. It had a picture of him and her. So, they're already starting to build the momentum, and right now California is about to have the three biggest events in the world. Okay, we're gonna have the Olympics here, the Super Bowl already gonna be here again. Okay, and then you got the World Cup soccer within the next 4 years.
What are they
So
going
he
to
got
do
to
with
fix
all of
the
these
state.
homeless people?
Exactly.
And
What are they gonna
then
do with the homeless people?
what are they about to do with the 20, what is it? It's 48 million illegals that are receiving SNAP benefits plus cash right now.
And not only that, Lotus, what about the people? You remember Gavin let them rich folks burn up. They ain't
He
forgot
did.
about that.
He did. He 100% did, and it still looks terrible on the coast. I don't
Right.
even think they've started to rebuild
Exactly.
yet.
Right. So
Exactly. And
he's gonna have a hard run for, just in my personal opinion. If people are stupid enough to vote for Gavin, oh well, then yeah, it's over. It's over.
Kamala's running again
And
too,
the thing is, like,
apparently.
yeah, the thing is, like, they're going. See, that's the whole thing, bro. We got to be realistic. It's the electoral college that picks these presidents. It's like never in U.S. history can you name a time. Can we name a time? I can name a time that the president won and became president because of popular vote. The popular vote is nothing but a popular vote. It's exactly what it means. Oh, he's popular. I like this guy. He's popular, but you're not. You have no say in the what who the president is going to be. That's the electoral college. Come on, let's keep it 100. They don't care nothing about us, about our votes and who we want to be president, because they're going to pick
No,
the
but
president
pretty boy,
regardless.
I
And the
don't know
thing,
about that. I don't know about that because what are the most important states in an election, and who is in them states?
but
The
they hold the
battleground
biggest
states is where the
electoral college
black people are. If you win the battleground states, you win the election. If there has not been
because
a
it's popular.
president that has not won the battleground states who was elected, not one.
But that's what I'm saying, Big E. It's a that on that side when it comes to the public voting, it's a popularity contest. At the end of the day, the electoral college picks the president, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yes, those states that you're talking about, they hold some of the biggest electoral college votes. You're correct entirely, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying about that, and we know when Obama, who gave Obama those electoral college votes? Hillary did, right? You know what I'm
Right?
saying? Hillary gave him, and how did she get them? I mean, how did he get them? He bought them because he bought and paid for it. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing is like, if the thing is, this is why I'm saying that we got to really pay attention to the situation that's going on with Newsom. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't go to jail, it's like, yes, the people might not vote for him, but you know who's going to put him in office? Corporate America. That's who's going to put him in office. You know what I'm saying? Mark my words. If the Republicans don't come up with somebody to offset this, man, we are in big trouble, bro. You know what I'm saying? We
Pretty boy,
are.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. Okay, when Kamala herself ran, she didn't even make it to the primary. That's when she had no support, right? And then when
Right.
she ran for president, her and Tim Walz, she got absolutely washed. So what I'm saying is, if you are a Democrat, right? She got no support in the primary. You remember, even Barack was like, "Nah, hold up, we need to have a primary. We ain't gonna just." But they put her there anyway. She got washed. So if you are a Democrat, I'm just asking, is it wise to put somebody in there who couldn't get no votes for the primary and got washed in the last election? Is that a wise choice?
Well,
No, it's not when it comes to the popular vote. No, it's not. But like I keep saying, bro, absolute power corrupt. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Absolute. You know what I mean? And these politicians are bought and paid for. We got to keep it 100, bro. These people are not picked by us. They are picked by corporate America, who actually runs the country, who runs the actual world, man. We got to keep it 100, man. Who they gonna listen to? A billionaire who put $800,000 behind this dude's campaign, or Pookie or me that just went to the polls and ticked off a vote? Who they gonna listen to more? It's obvious, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know
not
everybody wants to
Pookie.
believe that our system is everybody wants to believe that our system is righteous and just, but it's not, bro. They don't care nothing about us, and it shows every single time. See, think about it, Biggie. You lived through how many presidents? Me, you,
A
and
few
Red have
of
lived through how many presidents?
a
We
few
lived
of
through since Since like, okay, so think about it. They played a game with us. The good president, bad president. Good president, bad president. Okay, so think about it. Okay, so Reagan was like the savior president, say the savior president of Jimmy Carter, right? Because Jimmy Carter was like a bust. They was like, oh, this is a clown. It's like, so Reagan came in and everybody was like, now Reagan goes down as one of the greatest presidents ever. But we all remember what happened when Reagan was president. What happened? The crack era. You know what I'm saying? So how was he the great president? But they talking about he the greatest president ever, right? So who was the next president that came in? The bad president. Who was that? George Bush Sr. You know what I'm saying? What happened during his time? Think about it. Everything
Gulf
happened
War,
during his time.
the first Gulf War,
The Gulf War. OJ.
the first one, the first one.
Yep. The riots. You know what I'm saying? The LA riots. You know what I'm saying? All that happened during Bush, right? You know what I'm saying? So he was the bad president. And then who was the next president that they called talk about? The good president, the guy who's going to come save us. Bill Clinton. What happened during him? NAFTA. That's the reason why we got all these illegals in the country in the first place. You know
And
what
the
I'm saying?
crime
It's like
bill.
that NAFTA, and the crime bill. You know what I'm saying? But they was like, oh, he's the great president, right? And then Monica Lewinsky, little, around the back there, you know what I'm saying? And then what after that? What happened after that? You know what I'm saying? Who do we got next? The bad president. Who was that? George Bush Jr. You know what I'm saying? He comes in, everybody was like, oh, what happened? 9/11. Next Gulf War. You know what I'm saying? He's the bad president. Afghanistan. Okay, so then who comes in next? The savior president, the good president. Who is that? Obama. Okay, and so what happened during Obama? Nothing for us. Nothing for FBA, black people. Nothing good happened for us. We was getting slaughtered by the hundreds by the police. You know what I'm saying? The most drone strikes in U.S. history. You know what I'm saying?
But let me ask you
That's
this,
what
Pretty
happened.
Boy. Let me ask you this. Is he really? Are they really the good president? Because what I'm saying is, like, look on and follow me, like here on this level. These dudes, these presidents, and these political figures, at least the Democratic ones, because Bush had oil money. Remember, they come into the presidency with money. But when you look at a lot of these Democratic ones, right? They don't be having guap like that until after they done been in office, and it'd be like, dude, how did you go from being worth like maybe $150,000 to now you worth $200-300 million? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, when you talking to money, it's like y'all are the real crim, at least to me. Because see, look, Trump walked into the presidency a billionaire, right? Bush, senior and father, already walked into the presidency with oil money, right? So it seems like the Democrats is the criminals, at least more of the criminals, because they the ones who seem to be reaping all the money.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Biggie. That's you know what I'm saying. You got the broke ones. You know what I'm saying. The Democrat Party historically has been what the hick farmers from the broke hick farmers. You know what I'm saying. That's the historically what they've been. The KKK party. You know what I'm saying. And you got to be a complete idiot, dummy, as a black person to vote Democrat. You got to be an idiot. If you're voting Democrat, you're stupid, because you're basically saying you're like the Hispanics voting for Donald Trump when he told you he was going to deport you. You guys are the same level. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're a Democrat, but that's okay though, because they changed. They've changed. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's not the same Democrat. Yes, it is, man. It's the same history. You know what I'm saying? These people know their history. Just because you don't know your history and you don't know their history doesn't mean that they don't. You know what I'm saying? They know exactly where they come from. You know what I mean? So I'm a land of red. I was like, just keep in mind and pay attention to what's really going on around here, because especially in California, us California natives, we set the precedent for the rest of the country. I don't care about your little hate that y'all got over here. You know what I'm saying? But the precedent for the rest of the country starts here. The technology starts here. Whatever's going on in tech right now here, you research and that's what's coming to your state. You know what I'm saying? You see what's going on here is coming to your state. This illegal immigration stuff, it was blowing up here, and guess where it went? To your state. Now it's way on the other side of the country. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, pay attention It's like, if you want to know, we are the testing ground for what happens. Us being the fourth largest economy on the face of this planet, that means my city, and the cities that we live in are just LA alone. LA alone, $1.7 trillion GDP. That's more than the most of your guys' states. Just that city alone. So pay attention to what's going on, because when Miss Red says specifically, we got 20 million illegals, bare minimum. That's more than the population of most of these states. You know what I'm saying? So, like, really pay attention and push back. Stop letting these people feel comfortable. If they come in and they talking about, oh, me no speaking English. Oh, well, you shouldn't have been here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, you better fix yourself. I know fools that's been here for 20 plus years and they still don't speak English. That's a disrespect. That's a slap in your face. They can come to your country, ball out, and straight up and be right in your face, ball out, get rich off you, just like Miss Red said. Basically, come in and get all kind of benefits and all this stuff, and can't even speak their language. There is no other country that I've been to, because I've traveled outside of America. There's no other country that I've been to that you could go into their country and ball out without being able to speak the language. But it just happens to happen here. Okay, because I'm telling you right now, these fools have a whole agenda. They don't care nothing about lighting up these ICE agents, because we out here in California have been raised around some real violent Vatos Locos Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them is ready to go to war, and some of them straight up tell you they think that this should still be Mexico. So they don't care nothing about you. So we gotta push back against this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stay on your P's and Q's, people, and I'm out.
All right, well, this is what we're gonna do, man. I'm gonna let Big E go ahead and land. Big E, we're gonna get ready and wrap this thing up.
Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the biggest political statement we can make as a people is saying screw both parties, because we know for a fact that neither side really mean us no good, right? But this is what I want to say to just certain Democrats, even certain things in the chat. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that voting Democrat is the only way, when, to me, voting for them is what got us here to begin with. They were just in power, and is the reason, and they were so bad. If you just on face value, they were so bad. That's why it made it so easy for Trump to wash her. You know what I'm saying? Because they were that bad. That's all that I'm saying. You can't be like, oh, well, voting for him is this, voting for him is that. Yeah, but voting for the other side is why we are where we are right now. It got to be some kind of change. Voting blue ain't got us nothing. It really haven't. It got us more heartache and disappointment than anything. I mean, right now, even the most hardcore Democrat could see who they fighting for and who they not fighting for. They said screw their original base. They would rather, well, you see who they catering to. So, I mean, I don't understand why we should vote for them at all. And if red ain't the way to go, okay, that's cool, because I ain't no Republican. Well, then let's just not vote for neither one of them. Oh, well, no, vote for Harris. Nah, see, y'all can't have that both ways, because I don't align with nothing Democrat. Nothing. None of their policies are in my interest. So I could not vote for any of them. And you're right, Bolt. They are the two wings of the same bird. You get what I'm saying? But one of them is going to be president, right? Like, I hear what everybody be saying. What is your suggestions? If Democrat ain't cool, okay, I don't think they are. Then y'all say Republican ain't cool. Okay, I respect that. So then what do we do? You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to give me a solution. You can't be like, oh, well, you just this, you just that, and then can't tell me, like, what's a viable solution other than not voting. You get what I'm saying? So give us a solution, and then we can go from there. But as far as the dirty bird go, I would have rather went with the rights policies over the lefts. And that's all I'm saying. That ain't saying I support this or that, but the policy is that's what I voted for. So I'm going to land with that, Red. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Drink your water, eat your veggies, and keep winning.
All right. Shout out to Big E, man, from pulling up. And shout out to Pretty Boy. Shout out to my girl, Sheila. Shout out to my boy, Toby. So shout out to my boy, Toby, for the Cash App. And shout out to my girl, Sheila. Shout out to everybody for supporting the content. You dig? I'm going to let Miss Red land this thing. Go ahead, baby. Whatever you got to say, you can go ahead and land your plane. Okay, well, she dropped down. She dropped down. But, yeah. Show some love to everybody. Blessings to everybody in the chat. And, yeah, man, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Peace. Peace. And oh yeah, shout out to my boy Randall, man. Shout out to my boy Randall for blessing us with a Cash App as well. I didn't want to forget about Randall. So shout out to my boy Randall. Shout out to Big Dog over there, man. I appreciate you. You know, hit the like button. It ain't nothing. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. The truth is way more than you can handle. Peace, love, and blessings. Giving you game to keep you from stressing. Red Supreme. Support the game. And oh yeah, make sure that you guys hype these videos, man. Hype the video. You know, once the stream gets uploaded to YouTube, make sure that you hype the live streams in a major way. I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. I'm gone. Peace.